Alrighty then. Peace, love, harmony, and light. Let's make sure we got sound. Yes, we do. We got sound. I'm gonna allow some people to get into this live feed. All right. We about to go in. Peace, love, harmony, and light. I am that I am. How you guys doing out there? I hope everybody's not turning up right now, because you know, that would be a little messed up, right? I'm gonna be here talking to myself, but let's make this happen. Let's do this. I'm giving people some time to get in to the live feed. All right. Don't tell me everybody's out partying now. Alrighty then. Man, should I play some music in the meantime? I mean, what's going on? Where everybody at? It's kind of early, man. It's not even 10 o'clock. All right, I see, we got my brother Sunfire up in there. Halito, brother. Peace. All right, giving some people some time to get into this live feed. Do me a favor. Take the link of the video. Take it to your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter. Once again, we have a lot of work to do. So I'm constantly on the grind, bringing that information to the people. I think, once again, it's important that we get to the bottom of things. Hey, peace and love. Boo Blues. All right. And man, I don't know, man. Sometimes I ask myself, hey, Chief, is there any hope? But you know what? I'm not going to give up, because I believe that, well, not just believe, I know that the remnant of our ancestors, those of us who are here, seeking truth and are willing to stand for truth and to restore the legacy of our ancestors, I know we'll be able to change things eventually. All right. As you could see, there is so many distractions. All right. The people who are supposed to be teaching, uplifting, being the example. You have the conscious community. It's a lot of chaos. You know what I'm saying? A lot of chaos, right? Then you have the American Aboriginal people that's waking up, calling themselves American Indians. They are now debating the conscious community. Then you have distractions with Nature Boy and Pharaoh. I mean, it's just so many distractions, man. And it is not coincidental. All right. It is not coincidental. What we have to realize is that the more we step into a higher sense of consciousness, all right, and are willing to put in the work, there is always an opposing force, all right, that's coming against what we are doing. So we can't allow to get ourselves caught up in the distractions. You feel me? You would see videos with the nonsensical debates of people. I mean, literally, in a day or so, videos would have about 10, 15,000 views. You feel me? That is because people are distracted. But once again, I believe the few that hear my words, okay, and are ready to step up and put in that work, we are the ones that's going to change this thing around, because everybody else is focused on something else. Everybody else is distracted. You feel me? So I commend you guys. I thank you guys, all right, for not getting caught up in the distraction. You feel me? Because you could have been anywhere else. Peace and love, sister. You could have been anywhere else except for being right here on this channel right now, on this live. You feel me? So I thank you for that. So even if it's going to be 6 of us, Even if it's going to be 20 of us, 30 of us, 100 of us, it's all good. You feel me? It's all good because I know my words are not falling on deaf ears and I'm bringing the truth to you. All right? One thing we have to realize is this. There is a reason why we as a people, and when I say we as a people, I'm not talking about the so-called entire black race. Okay? I said so-called. I'm not black. Okay? But I'm talking about us here in the American continent. There is something unique about us. There's something special about us. Not that we are better than anybody else. That's not what I'm saying. But we were given a certain task. All right. We were given a certain responsibility. We have a purpose. Not insinuating that other ethnic groups don't have a purpose. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we were put in place to be a beacon of light to the world, to fallen humanity. And the more they get to hold us down, all right, the more the world will suffer. Look at our brothers and sisters in Haiti right now. What's going on? You don't hear that. Nobody's talking about it on the news. All right. CNN is not talking about it. They're not blasting it. MSBC spoke about a little something, but Fox is not talking about it. They're not blowing it up. None of the news channels is talking about what's happening to our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Nobody's talking about it, right? But yet still, when we were being oppressed, when we were actually being colonized, Haiti was the first one to gain its independence ever. And what did Haiti do? Haiti turned around and told all the melanated children of this planet, you have a home. Come to Haiti. We will give you guys visas. You could come to Haiti. All right? Do you think this is supposed to be happening to our brothers and sisters in Haiti? And we as a people, okay? We as a people here on the on what's called, well, Haiti's is in the Americas, but I'm talking about here in the mainland. We should have been in uproar. Okay? We should have been in uproar. Why aren't we fighting for our brothers and sisters in Haiti? Do you know the role that Haiti played in fighting the colonizers? Do you know? But once again, you see, our people are so divided, man. And it's sad because we got to stand and watch our brothers and sisters get killed. History is repeating itself. Who's to say that the same thing cannot happen right here on American soil? Where's the solidarity? Where is the people standing up for our brothers and sisters? Man, we got a long way to go. Peace and love, family. All right? I appreciate that. You know what I mean? But my thing is this, all right? We have to step up because we have such a profound, such a deep history right here in the Americas. They don't want us to know. They don't. So what they do is they make it seems like, okay, we are not the original people of the land. They put us on a whole different continent. When the truth of the matter is, we right here, our ancestors right here on the American continent, literally is part of the old world, if not the oldest world. You feel me? But I'm telling you, man, I know that the great spirit, I know the forces, the energy of our ancestors is going to step up and rise in us. It's going to resonate in us. And I'm talking about those of us who don't get caught up with the distractions. Those of us who don't spend their time sitting around watching videos of brothers and sisters destroying each other. Because you see, when we partake and we watch those videos, we are playing a part, okay, in the destruction of our people. You feel me? That's what we are doing. We are playing a part in the destruction of our people, because that's what everybody's feeding to, the negativity, okay? The gossip, the propaganda. Our people love to see each other under attack. And not just by people who don't look like us, but by our own. Man, this is crazy. But once again, I'm going to continue to stay focused. I'm going to continue to stay vigilant, all right? Because I know that there is work to do. So with that being said, all right, I'm going to do some reading. As you know, reading is fun for the mental. And I'm going to share some information with you that you may or you may not have heard before. But one thing I'm going to tell you is this. They have taught us about history. And what they haven't done, you see, they have done such an immaculate job telling us about history. But they fail to teach us about prehistory, prehistoric America. You see, that's where I go to look for my information. That's where I go to debunk a lot of the lies. You feel me? Because I know the truth. And the truth exists in me. And that's what, nobody could take that away. Nobody can take who I am away from me. Because it's in my DNA. It's in my blood. And once you have come into the knowledge and you have proven and you have facts of who you are, it doesn't matter what anybody say. They cannot deter you from your path unless you allow them to. Because all around you, that's what these eyes, that's what they're for. All right? They are to see and gravitate to distractions. But you see, when you see from a higher perspective, when you start seeing things from the eye perspective, the first eye, what people call the third eye, the pineal gland. You feel me? That's where I see things because I have vision. So my eyes, they do not wander. I see videos with the distraction. I see videos with the low vibrational shit from people who talking about their gods and their Christ and all that. Man, I don't even pay attention to that. You feel me? I don't pay attention to that because guess what? I know I have to stay focused for those of you who want to stay focused. For those of you who are tired of the distractions, for those of you who are tired of the low vibrational shit, at least one place you could come to and know that I'm not going to indulge in such low vibrational activities. I would never do that. If I were to ever speak on any of those things happening, I would actually call out those brothers so that they could make peace. All right? But not feed into the negativity. I'm not going to do that. You see me? Because I'm not going to contaminate my energy. I know I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow people or the distractions to pull me back into that lower state of vibrations. No. Because we are all responsible for our own lives. Free will. And nobody's forcing you to click on a video to watch 2, 3 hours, 4 hours of our brothers and sisters beating each other up. Because that's what a debate means. Debate means to beat. And I'm going to show it to you right now. Let us go look at the etymology of debate before I get into the meat of this lecture this evening. All right? Let us go here for a second. All right. You know, this is stuff that I listen to and I meditate to, all right? Tibetan music, healing music, relaxation, chakra relaxing, music for stress relief. Those are the things that I listen to in my spare time. No, I'm not going to play it because they might say, hey, you know what? You don't have permission to YouTube be on some BS when it comes to me. So I'm not even going to play before they tell me I'm violating their standards or their community standards. All right. But let me go to Google here for a second. Because brothers and sisters, all right, anything that happened to you in terms of people affecting your energy, that's your fault, man. You cannot blame anybody for that. So let's go look at the etymology of debate. All right? Debate. Oh, here I'm spelling this incorrectly. Debate. All right? Etymology of debate. And that's what this community is doing. And they have no idea. Of course, we know an etymology is the origin of the word. The origin of the word. Okay? And these people, maybe they do have an idea what they are doing to each other, but some of them don't. And you see, it's the energy of the word. And that's called self-destruction, because let us look at the etymology of debate. Debate, the verb, late 14th century, to quarrel, dispute, that, fight, make war, also discuss, deliberate upon the pros and cons of Old English, originally to fight down completely, batir, to beat. Okay, so when we have our brothers and sisters debating each other all day, that is the energy. It's to beat each other. All right, to war against each other. That's what debate really means. And a lot of you get caught up in the debates because your energy that you're giving to that type of environment is affecting you and you don't even know. Because that is the true energy that the words carry: to fight, to beat, to combat, to make war. And that's what our brothers and sisters spend time doing all day in the conscious community. All right? Now, let us go look at the etymology of argue, right? Etymology of argue. Let's go look at the etymology of argue. Now, you see how they teach us things in backwards? They are teaching us things backwardsly, because look at argue. Argue, to make reasoned statements to prove or refute proposition, maintain an opinion or view, reproach, accuse, blame, ultimately to make clear. Let us just extend that a little bit. Okay? To make clear, make known, to prove, to declare, demonstrate, to shine white. In other words, to seek truth. The transmission to French might be via arguere, in the medieval Latin sense of to argue. Fricative of arguere, basically it means to bring to light, to make bright, to enlighten. So now they make you think that to argue is bad and to debate is good. But you see how the English language is? Because it all carries energy. Somebody, I want to argue with you, they're going to get upset. You feel me? But they don't realize to argue, all it means is to make clear. That's why when you go to court, you know what I'm saying? And you tell the judge asking you if are you here to argue with me? And you say no, then obviously you are saying that you don't want to make your point clear. For me, anytime I'm faced in such positions, guess what I say? I tell the magistrate, yes, I am here to argue. My point is quite clear. All right? I am here to declare my point. So brothers and sisters, man, y'all got to be careful in the type of energy that you guys allow to step into your temple, man. You got to be careful. The words, the power of life and death is in the tongue. So you see, that's what our brother, instead of arguing, they are debating, beating each other. Okay? That's what they are doing. They are making war. And that's the type of energy our people are vibrating into right now. All right? But it's okay though. And when I'm saying it's okay, I'm not saying what they're doing is okay. What I'm saying is that I am pleased that not everybody is gravitating to that. All right. Once again, I don't care if it's 10 of us that's going to be here on this live, then so be it. I am so appreciative of that. You feel me? Because it's not the quantity, but it's the quality. And I do believe that the people that tune into my live videos, they are quality people. So I respect you for that. All right? Not insinuating that others aren't, but I'm just saying what I'm saying. You dig. So with that being said, let us step into a little bit of our story. We're going to go beyond the threshold of what we call colonization. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I have put those links. Of course, you know I always give you a point of reference. I have put those links in the description below. Now, one of the books, it's actually not on our website. However, one of them is. All right? But nevertheless, both of them are actually in the link below. All right? Because I'm always seeking for the knowledge to bring you the truth. And it's that's the only thing that's going to set us free. All right. So let us go, and we're going to read a little bit from a book called The Lost Cities of North and Central America. Lost Cities of North and Central America. Because they never tell us about those things. But yet still, they're going to keep telling you that you came here on slave ships from Africa. But I'm going to debunk that in every way possible with facts. All right. And I'm going to show you quite the opposite of what we were taught. All right. So, of course, that book is missing a few pages. You feel me? Because I don't have, I didn't pay for the full version. So I have excerpts from the book, but just enough to get my point across. All right. So if you feel like, you want to get the book in its entirety, then feel free to. But there's a jewel that I came across, which I'm going to share with you. And that's from the book, Lost Cities of North and Central America by David Hatcher, Child Dress or Childress. Okay. Now it reads, we're going to start here. The amazing scene of the stealing of a gold idol from a lost temple that began the first Indiana Jones film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, was actually based on real occurrence. The time frame is the 1940s, and the young explorer was a German American named Charles Frey. So just so you know, the act with Indiana Jones was actually based on a real occurrence. All right, and the time frame was about 1940s, and the young explorer was a German American named Charles Frey or Fry. The idea of a lost temple, often containing the lost golden books of the Maya, as well as other treasures such as gold, statues, and jade, has been suggested in the literature of Central America since the American diplomat John Lloyd Stevens traveled through Chiapas in 1838 to 1839. So once again, we are seeing that the movies, they always depict, okay, they always depict our story. But you see, our people don't know who they are talking about. And that's why reading is fun for the mental. You have to read, you have to study. And that's why I tell my people, avoid the distractions. Because distractions, you see, I guarantee you there are videos right now where people are digging all these distractions. And they're missing a jewel. But it's okay, they're not missing anything because you know what? It wasn't meant for them. But I'm happy once again, and I appreciate love you for tuning in tonight to get the truth about our story, because it's the only way this is going to resonate, and this is the only way we're going to fall in love with who we are and our land and stand up and fight for what's ours. Okay? The British writer Harold T. Wilkins, in his rare book Mysteries of Ancient South America, quotes Stevens from a newspaper published in New York and London in 1839 and 1840. The padre of the little village near the ruins of Santa Cruz del Quiche had heard of the unknown city when he was in the village of Shahul. Shahul lies in the mountains in western Guatemala, close to the headwaters of the Rio Usomancinta. The priest was then a young man, and with much labor climbed to the naked summit of the topmost ridge of the Sierra of the Cordillera. No, Cordillera. All right, Spanish is not my language, so please forgive me while I pronounce these Spanish words. All right. When arrived at the height of 10 or 12,000 feet, he looked over at an immense plain extending Yucatan and the Gulf of Mexico. At a great distance, he saw a large city spread over a great space, and with turrets white and glistening in the sun. Tradition says that no white man has ever reached the city. No white man has ever reached the city. So what is that indicating? What are they insinuating? That all the people there were so-called black. And I am saying so-called black because we are not black. Okay? That the inhabitants speak the Maya language, know that strangers conquered their whole land and murder any white man who attempts to enter their territory. All right? So the Mayans, they murdered any so-called white man who entered their territory. They have no coin, no horses, no cattle, no mules, or other domestic animals except for fowls and the cocks they keep on the ground to prevent their crowing being heard. Wilkins quotes Madame Blavatsky, one of the founders of the Theosophical Society, as telling the same story. She traveled through South America and Central America by ship between 1851 and 1853. Wilkins speak about how she met an old Peruvian, a Quichua Indian. You hear that? Indian, a Quichua Indian who had lived in Guatemala with the Quichua Indians. James Churchward believed that the Cuchi and the Quichua were related as well, and told Blavatsky, quote, I keep friends with them, these bandidos, the Spanish colonials, and their Catholic missionaries for the sake of my own people. But I am as much a worshiper of the sun as if I had lived in the days of our murdered emperor, the Inca Atahualpa. Now, as a converted native and a missionary, I once took a journey to Santa Cruz del Quiche, and when there, I went to see some of my people by a subterranean passage leading into a mysterious city behind the Cordilleras. Herein, it is death for any white man to trespass. Wilkins was a pirate treasure expert who, started in the 1930s, wrote a number of popular books. He believed that ancient tunnels and lost cities that were to be found in South America and Guatemala and Chiapas as well. Says Wilkins Fuentes, who lived about AD 1689 and wrote an unpublished manuscript on the history of Guatemala, speaks of the amazing, large, and ancient towns found there by conquistadors. Fuentes says the marvelous structure of the tunnels subterranean of the pueblo of Puchota, being of the most firm and solid cement, runs and continues through the interior of the land for the prolonged distance of 9 leagues to the Pueblo de Tecpan, Guatemala. It is a proof of the power of these ancient kings and their vassals. Without that, these tunnels are more than 30 miles long by the old Castellanian League. Subterranean tunnels to the lost cities of living Mayans, complete with the lost books of gold, is a story with a great deal of substance. Tunnels between cities in Guatemala absolutely exist. See chapters 3 and 4. There seems to be little doubt that some Mayans codices must still exist, especially if made of gold, and that some Mayans were still living undiscovered, especially in the late 1800s. Just so y'all know, a lot of us still have that bloodline of our Mayan ancestors. I know I do. That all these things should be wrapped into one lost city makes the plot of as popular an Indiana Jones film as one could make. Charles Frey was to step into just such an incredible scene when he decided to leave the United States in 1942. How ironic. Rather than have to go into the American Army and fight in World War II. For years, with very little money, Frey walked all over southern Mexico, starting in the Yucatan. He visited Tulum, then reachable only by foot or by boat, and occasionally traveling by third-class train, reached the area around Palenque or Palenque. From Palenque, Frey continued deep in the Usumacinta River area with Chicreros. In this area, he married an Indian girl, of course. They're always marrying our women, aren't they? And began to live as a farmer in the El Real Valley. Now, one of the reasons why they have always married our women is because, once again, we had a matriarchal society. All right? However, he learned that the Maya would go away occasionally to an unknown city in the forest. Finally, he persuaded a Lacandon Indian friend named Shanbor to take him to the secret city. The year was 1945. My brothers and sisters, that was just in 1945. Okay? We still had lost cities in South and Central America. And of course, they marry into our culture, okay? And they befriend us, and then they find out exactly where all those things are, and then they destroy them instead of appreciating them because they want to bury our history. Apparently, there was a gold statue in the city that was still worshipped as a god, though only on special days being kept in this temple. The city had been abandoned only 100 years or so before. This city is the now famous archaeological site of Bonampak, about 100 miles south of Palenque in the Lacandon Mountains. We should definitely take a trip there one day as the indigenous people. That's why I'm asking my people to rise and step up, because we have a right to visit our ancestral artifacts. Okay? We have every right to do that. Apparently, according to my source, the esteemed Brazilian archaeologist Dr. G. Abreu of the University of Sao Paulo, Charles Frey, stole the gold statue, which was either 1 or 2 feet high and probably a representation of either Talc, the rain god, or of the corn god or the sun god. He took it with him to Mexico City, where he sold it. According to Dr. Abreu, there were various newspapers reports in Mexico that at the time about a mysterious gold statue being sold privately. Frey was known to be in the capital at this time. Frey soon ran out of money and desired more publicity. He met a photographer named John Boone, whom he took to Bonampak in February of 1946. 4 months later, he took the British photographer Giles O'Gills Healy. Healy discovered the magnificent murals and took photos of Bonampak, which were published in Life magazine and made quite a sensation. Apparently, the Lacandon tolerated Frey's having stolen the gold statue at first. They allowed him to bring a friend who photographed the ruins. Then Healy and Frey returned in another year with Dr. J. Eric Thompson, the most eminent British Mayanist of his time. This expedition was sponsored by the Carnegie Institution in Washington, which 10 years later produced a richly illustrated and exhaustive work on Bonampak. In early 1949, Frey returned one last time from Mexico City, this time with a large expedition from the Mexican government, complete with a small detachment of soldiers. You see, because when you give these people an inch, they take a yard. When you give them a yard, they take a foot. When you give them a foot, they take a mile. When you give them a mile, they take your entire land. You feel me? And that's exactly what happened. Frey had stolen the gold statue, and now he was bringing the Mexican government into the Sierra Lacandon. Charles Frey had finally stepped across the line as far as the Lacandon were now concerned. On returning from Bonampak, Charles Frey was killed by the Lacandon. All right? I don't condone violence, but sometimes that's what results. Okay? I'm just saying. Wolfgang Kodan, who helped raise Charles Frey's son and New Chanber, personally gives this account of the death in his book, Secret of the Forest. Frey with two of the members of the expedition, a mestizo and a draughtsman named Gomez, were returning via a shortcut. Instead of the long route through the swamps, they walked to a dugout canoe, which Frey was commandering for their return to the main camp. None of the three ever reached Campo Cedro. The upturned boat was found downstream by some Lacandon, and a little later, Chanbur recovered the body of his friend Carlos Frey from under a fallen tree in the river. Gomez was also found at the same spot. The guide turned up 2 days later. The Mexican expedition dispersed almost immediately, and the Lacandon were then left in peace. You see, sometimes, my brothers and sisters, guess what? You have to step up and defend what's ours. Okay? That is the only time we get respect. We have to stand up and defend what's ours. That is just history. It has been proven in history. Okay? Let me proceed. The Mexican expedition dispersed almost immediately, and the Lacandon were then left in peace. Just how 3 men were somehow unable to swim 10 feet or so to the banks of the river has never been explained by any of the archaeological books that briefly mention the Charles Frey episode of Bonampak. In fact, Charles Frey is typically not credited for the discovery of the city. Giles Haley is generally named as the discoverer of Bonampak. How could you discover something when people were already there? Once again, another lie. Though it is true that he is the discoverer of the famous murals. Okay? The Illustrated London News ran 2 stories on Bonampak on June 20th and August 9th of 1947. Both failed to give any credit to Frey. Said the news on August 9th, Mr. Healy was located 48 building sites and a number of carved stelae or recording stones, a photo is included in the story showing a Lacandon standing next to a broken steel. Even the broken portion of the steel is huge compared to the Lacandon, who probably stands only 5 feet tall. Yet, the complete steel was obviously megalithic in proportions, being tall as 25 or 30 feet high, similar to the stele at Quariqua. The murals themselves are considered one of the greatest artistic masterpieces of all times. Though the Maya must have painted thousands of murals, most of them have eroded away or been destroyed. The Bonampak murals were partially preserved by a... Okay, I can't see what that is. Let me just see if I can move that back here for a second. There we go. All right, let me just make that a little smaller. Pardon me, guys. Just want to make that a little smaller so we can see the entire thing. All right. The Bonampak murals were partially preserved by a coating of calcium bicarbonate produced by moisture reacting chemically with the limestone. These murals are now over 1,000 years old. J. Eric Thompson interpreted the murals as the first being a scene of important personages preparing for a raid on some nearby village. The scene is a realistic one, clearly depicting the action, the manner, the social classes, the dress, and the ceremonial regalia of the 8th century Maya. Was on an activity of the elite class, commanding great press members. The lower section of the mural represents musicians and masked participants in a processional. The next scene is of the actual raid, showing warriors and their enemies engaged in battle. The next scene is a judgment scene where the captives are being arraigned before the great lords of Bonampak. A following scene depicts the execution of a prisoner and the pleading for mercy from other captives. The final scene is of a celebration and a dance by the finest nobles and entertainers in their jaguar skins, jades and feathers. Jades and feathers and jaguar skin, all right? All that is indigenous to the Americas, just so y'all know. But perhaps the greatest treasure of the Bonampak was sold in Mexico City and now resides in a private collection. Do the lost books of the Maya still reside in another city? Even Dana and Ginger Lamb wrote about Charles Frey in their book Quest for the Lost City. But they knew that Bonampak was not the site of the golden tablets. Perhaps they can only be reached by a subterranean tunnel. A few days later in Vala Hermosa, Walter and I took about various theories concerning lost cities, vanished civilizations, and ancient mysteries. We had been looking at the gigantic Negroid heads that were found at the Olmec site of La Venta and were now in the pack at Vala Hermosa. May I reiterate? The gigantic Negroid heads, all right? Negroid heads. So that speaks volumes, okay? Let me drink some water. Yes, that natural water from the well. Oh, man. Do you suppose that these guys are explorers from Africa? I asked Walter. Walter thought for a moment and replied, the world as we know it has been destroyed many times over. And my brothers and sisters, that's one of, apart from, of course, bringing the knowledge to you and bringing the truth to you, this is one of the things that I want you to keep in mind, okay? And I'm going to read that again. Walter thought for a moment and replied, "The world as we know it has been destroyed many times over." Okay? And that's a fact. The world has been destroyed many times over. Civilizations have risen from the dust and then declined. According to some people, the greatest of all civilizations was on now submerged continent in the Pacific. Guess what it is? All right, then. Let us continue. This is about to get real interesting because, like I tell people, I deal with facts. All right? Not theories. According to that theory, Negroes are really not from Africa. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a theory that life originated in Africa. It's a theory that all so-called black people are from Africa. Once again, Walter continued, according to that theory, Negroes are really not from Africa, brothers and sisters. Okay? Negroes are not really from Africa. Negroes, like all people, are originally from the vast continent in the Pacific where all the races of man originated, where in the later days of the great civilization, the different tribes of what? Mu. Okay? As the continent is sometimes called, began to migrate around the world. You see why they don't want us to know who we are? Because Atlantis, Mu, we are also the descendants of the Atlanteans. All right? The Lemurians. That's why they don't want us to know who we are. You feel me? I'm going to repeat that again. Walter continued, according to the theory, Negroes are not really from Africa. Okay? Negroes, like all peoples, are originally from the vast continent in the Pacific, where all the races of man originated in the later days of that great civilization. Now, in the later days of that great civilization, remember, the world has been destroyed a few times over. Okay? So we are talking about in the later days of that great civilization. The different tribes of Mu, as the continent is sometimes called, began to migrate around the world. So, brothers and sisters, yes, we are the true originals. Okay? The true originals. Now, here we go. Here we go. And I know that's going to hit some people so hard in their faces. All right? That truth right here is going to hit some people so hard in their faces. Let us proceed. Negroes, one of the 12 tribes of Mu, okay? One of the 12 tribes of Mu settled largely in Central America, okay? In Central America. That is why we can find these huge Negroid heads many thousands of years old here in the jungle. Other Negroes managed to survive the New Guinea area of Southeast Asia after Mu was what? Destroyed in a cataclysmic pole shift some 24,000 years ago. Africa was largely depopulated after the last pole shift of about 10,000 years ago. I'm going to repeat that again. All right? Africa was largely depopulated after the last pole shift about 10,000 years ago. 7,000 to 8,000 years ago, Negroes from Central America migrated into the area around Nigeria and began to populate that area of Africa. Okay? So once again, when people are just telling y'all things, y'all got to make sure that what people are telling y'all is factual. Okay? I'm going to read that again. Africa was largely depopulated after the last pole shift about 10,000 years ago. I don't hear no Pan-Africanists talking about that. I don't hear no conscious community talking about that. 7,000 to 8,000 years ago, Negroes from Central America migrated into the area around Nigeria and began to populate that area of Africa. So you see, when they start telling you you look like Nigerians and you start looking like this, guess what? That could be some of our ancestors as well, our people that migrated there 7 to 8,000 years ago because Africa was depopulated 10,000 years ago from the last pole shift. Okay? Let me just continue a little bit more. Meanwhile, Dravidians had settled in the Abyssinia and southern Arabia, while Asians began settling Madagascar and East Africa. The Bushmen and Hottentots are the remnants of these people. The world is one long history of migrations, invasions, and unfortunately, of war and cruelty. Central America, like Asia, apparently had just about every race in the world living here at the time, at some time or another. So once again, brothers and sisters, I honor all my ancestors. And anybody who's ignorant enough to say that they don't have African ancestors, they are living an illusion. You feel me? Because the world has gone through so many changes and migrations. We are all intermixed. However, I tell people I'm an American Aboriginal first. But yes, I honor all my ancestors because I know we have intermingled throughout our entire existence on this planet. All right? I hear people talking about, oh, I ain't got no African in me. Man, I have never said that. I tell people I am not African, which is true. I am an American, but I do have some African ancestry. We all do. I mean, a lot of people would rather admit to the fact that they have Caucasian ancestry and deny that they have African ancestry. Like, to me, that is just asinine. That is just self-denial. You feel me? We all have those ancestors in us. Even the pale man, we have their ancestry in us. Because people was just mixing. Brothers and sisters, man, I am here to give the real facts. I'm not here to give you illusions. All right? I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth. I have read the James Churchwood books on Mu. I said, I then, Walter, that on the traditional academic level are the books edited by Ivan Van Sertima of Rutgers University in New Jersey. His books, African Presence in Early America and African Presence in Early Asia, are filled with articles and photos that show without a doubt that Negroes have lived literally all over the world, including ancient Americas. Okay? Ancient America. So how could these people that call themselves natives call themselves the original people of our land? Man, the lie and the disrespect. While Van Sertima does not bring in such unorthodox theories as the lost continent in the Pacific, he is clearly of the belief that Negroes in ancient times developed many advanced civilizations and lived all over the world. We glance at one of the most massive heads in the park. On its head was a strange leather helmet, making the man appear like a football or a rugby player. Walter was reading The Ancient Kingdoms of Mexico by the British historian Nigel Davies, a well-known critic of theories of ancient saphiring. Davies flatly rejects any theories of Phoenicians, Egyptians, Chinese, Vikings, African, sailors, or any else ever reaching Mexico by boat. Yet, unlike some historians, he readily admits that the Olmecs are what? Negroes. Okay? The Olmecs are Negroes, indicating that they are of a dark-skinned hue. All right? His explanation of the Negroid Olmecs in Mexico is interesting. Walter pulled out a one paperback and began to read from the Ancient Kingdoms of Mexico, page 26 to 27. Insofar as Negroid features are depicted in pre-Columbian art, a more logical explanation surely exists that does not depend upon flights of fancy involving African seafarers. Negroid peoples of many kinds are to be found in Asia as well as Africa. And guess what? They don't call themselves Africans. Okay? And there is no reason why at least a few of them should not have joined those migrant bands who came across the Bering Land bridge that joined North and East and Northwest America for so many millennia. All right? The small men with Negroid features were the aboriginal inhabitants of many lands facing the Indian Ocean, including India itself, the Malay Peninsula, and also the Philippines, where they still exist today. All right? One need to go further than Millennia International Airport to find proof of their existence. Nearby stands the Museum of Philippine Traditional Cultures. Facing the entrance is a well covered with photographs of unfamiliar faces, in marked contrast to the typical Mongoloid Filipinos of today. You hear that? Mongoloid Filipinos of today. Many of these are dark-skinned aboriginals known as Negritos, who now live scattered along the east side of the main island of Luzon. They mostly have thick lips and black skins. Weathers of Ceylon are another of these Negro aboriginal groups. It is therefore not in the least surprising that such elements should have joined the ranks of those early migrants who crossed the Bering Bridge before they sank beneath the waves. Their presence offers a more logical explanation of Negroid features than any other. All right? Therefore, even if one accepts the uncertain premise of that Olmec art is based on the portrayal of true Negroids, this does not warrant the conclusion that such people, you hear that? Brothers and sisters, man, we better wake up. All right? It is perfectly possible to find individuals in Tabasco today who have faces not unlike those of the colossal heads, whose features also somewhat recall the large stone carvings of the Cham culture of Cambodia, another country that still has a Negroid Aboriginal population. All right? So once again, brothers and sisters, you could go ahead and finish up reading, okay, on this book. It's in the link below. I'm going to proceed to the next book. Once again, I am telling people, I am not bashing Africans. No, because I have African ancestors. We all do. And for anybody to come here and say you don't, then trust me, you are in denial. Because the world has gone through so many changes. We have ancestors in Europe, we have ancestors in Asia, we have ancestors in Africa, and we have our immediate ancestors in the Americas. So I tell people I'm American first, but I also have other ancestors, and I appreciate and honor each and every one of them. All right? My purpose of doing all this is to let people know that we have our own identity. All right? And they should not put us in Africa because we are not Africans. Yes, we have African ancestry in our mix, but we are not Africans. All right? We are American Aboriginals. Okay? And I'm only here to point the facts. I ain't got time to be playing the games. All right? So if you're in denial, man, I hope you could swim, because the Nile is a river that runs from the Americas all the way into Africa. All right? Now, let us go and read another book that's on our nation's website. It is called New Light from the Great Pyramid. Now, I'm not going to go all the way from the beginning of the preface. All right. However, I am going to read some of the preface to you. All right. I want to make and that book, like I said, is on our nation's website, so that you guys could read it in its entirety for yourself. Now, the book is a thick book. It has a lot of pages, 473 pages. I have read it from top to bottom. So, hey, like I said, reading is fun for the mental. That's what I like to do. I like to read. I like to study. You feel me? Because I don't want nobody fooling me. All right? I know who I am. And I am proud to be who I am. Okay? Here we go. And once again, this book is called New Light from the Great Pyramid. Okay? In the appendix, and I started on page 18 because you have the preface goes up to a few pages before, but I didn't want to read all that. So I just say, you know what, let me just pick a point, and I just chose page 18, no particular reason. All right, for page 18. Okay. In the appendix to a previous work entitled Parsifal or Wagner as Theologian, the following note and comment appeared. The assumption of our geologists seems incontrovertible, that the human race must have survived a mighty transformation of at least the greater portion of our planet. Wagner. The notes prepared on this point has assumed such proportions that they must be reserved for a separate work entitled The Lost Pleiad, or The Fall of Lucifer, the key to the solar myths and the origin of all known forms of religion. Every religion had an origin. Okay? The conclusion developed by the testimony gathered being that in Christianity, far from something small and local, we possess the religion of prehistoric man, and that it is now being reestablished upon its ancient intellectual foundations, largely by the involuntary agency of modern science. After several years of research and comparison, a classification of results, it became apparent that an exhaustive treatment of the vast subject would involve a new universal synthesis, revealing in, or revealing, that's supposed to be revealing, but it's spelled differently, okay? In its proportions, the synthetic philosophy of Herbert Spencer. The attempt to execute such a work being out of question for one actively engaged in professional life, and a point of departure whose sought for the consecutive presentation of some of the most striking facts brought to light by these investigations. This book is a very interesting read. I suggest that you read it. Okay, it's a long book, but hey, why not? Reading is fun for the mental. Such a point of departure subsequently appeared as a result of a most surprising and unexpected discovery with reference to the Great Pyramid, this that forms the connecting link between the astronomy and the geography, and at the same time between the religion and science of the ancient world. Attempts to reconstruct the long-fallen arch of prehistoric science, art, and religion have not been wanting in the past. Should the present work, here guys, give me a second here. Should the present work prove successful where its predecessors have failed, namely in indicating the right line of efforts for the restoration of the long broken continuity of human consciousness between historic man and his prehistoric ancestors, that success will be largely due to the discovery that in the Great Pyramid, mankind possesses the veritable keystone of that arch, whose broken fragments have been the wonder and enigma of ages. If the proposition which you advance wrote a professional man to whom was submitted a brief abstract of the contents of the present can be shown to have scientific basis, undoubtedly one of the greatest possible interests to all mankind. The author does not presume to attach such importance to any conclusions to which his mind has been led by the testimony of historic facts in evidence. The facts themselves he can but consider of supreme interest. In the church at Epsom, Surrey, England, an exquisitely beautiful monument executed by the distinguished sculptor Flaxman bears the following inscription written by the Reverend William Jones. Glory to God alone, sacred to the memory of the Reverend John Parkhurst, A.M., of this parish, and descended from the Parkhurst of Gadsby in Northamptonshire. His life was distinguished not by any honors in the church, but by the deep and laborious researches into the treasures of divine learning, the fruits of which are preserved in two invaluable lexicons, wherein the original text of the Old and the New is interpreted with the extraordinarily light and truth. Reader, if thou art thankful to God that such a man lived, pray for the Christian world, that neither the pride of false learning nor the growth of unbelief may so far prevail as the render these pious labors in any decree ineffectual. He lived in a Christian charity and departed in faith and hope on the 21st day of February 1797 in the 69th year of his age. Catholicity of learning. The two learned lexicons and Parkhurst have long disappeared from the public use in the study of the Bible, not because they have been improved upon in their characteristic feature of the widest Catholicity of learning, but because the lexicons which have supplanted them are based upon diametrically opposite principle, namely the ignoring of all the points of contact between Hebrew and classic literature. In his lexicon, Parkhurst writes, not only the lexicographers and verbal critics, but more enlarged philologists, the writers of natural and ancient and modern into the eastern countries, and even the poets have been made to draw water from the service of the sanctuary to contribute their quotas to the illustration of the Hebrew scriptures. All right, this is still the preface. All right, guys. So I'm just reading some of that just to put things in perspective. Logic teaches that it is impossible to know anything. Comparative autonomy throws a flood of light upon the laws governing the birth, growth, and death of physical or visible organizations alike, of religions and of men. To doubt the fidelity of a thinker solely because he has studied comparative religion is like doubting one's belief in humanity as distinguished from the brute creation because he has investigated the points of similarity in species and the various types of animal kingdoms from the mollusk to the ape. That there is in religion something to investigate. The briefest consideration will make manifest. Obviously, religion has both form and substance, as an egg has shell and contents. But a bird deprived of calcareous nutriment cannot provide shells for her eggs. It does not follow from this, however, that the carbonate of lime originates either bird or eggs. Still less does the fact that the bird turns the lime to account explain the origin of the lime itself. In respect, alike theology, scriptures rites, ceremonies and forms, Christianity has built its shell from the same material used for similar purposes by numerous extant or still surviving religions. But this fact neither identifies Christianity with those rites and religions nor accounts for the origin of the material, which all alike have used each after its own fashion. Divested of its shell, Christianity certainly retains all that existed in the days of Christ and his disciples before the assertions of some subsequent centuries had formed and hardened around it, namely its soul and spirit, which alone are immortal. A second here, let me just get back on track. Immortal. Don't freeze up on me now. Thank you. The present desperate determination to cling to the shell materialism and idolatry is indeed the real here, which neither discerns the being of an indestructible spirit nor trusts its soul saving power. Skopinher declares world as will and idea. 3. Page distinguish the quenelle from the shell so carefully as Christianity. Just because I prize the quenelle highly, I sometimes treat the shell with little ceremony. It is, however, thicker than it's generally supposed. Meanwhile, the examination of this material, worked over in so many ways since the most ancient times, proves of the highest importance since it discloses new chapters in history, not only of mankind and of the globe we inhabit, but of the solar system. This story we should seek to recover its entirety and to preserve. A man betrays his doubt of the genuineness of his religion or the honor of its ancestry when, for fear of revelation and discoveries, he proposes to stop historic research. Even the incarnation human cooperation was necessary. Otherwise, the Messiah would not have been the Son of Man. Nor could Christianity have had been saved through previously existing forms of religion. The gospel could and can be preached only by means of words whose religious significance was determined before that gospel was proclaimed. To set forth a new system of mathematics, language already established and understood as a mathematical must be frankly recognized in the Bible when the genealogy of the Christ is given. The line of the ancestors containing many names synonymous with one or another of all the crimes condemned. Why then should not Christians study the sources of Christianity on its human historic side? The reader will find no symmetrically ordered system upon a theory. Every topic and section would have been developed in a rigidly logical order. But since it had its origin in an investigation, the reader is conducted along the path by which the author went in gathering facts. What is lost while beginning with the Taurus and ending with Aries? The mind follows as a play the zodiacal signs through the 360 celestial degrees and observes the sign by sign the reflection of the story of the stars above the nomenclature, the faiths, the beliefs, and the heraldry of the lands occupying corresponding 365 meridians below. When we hear of the growls of Russia the bear, or of the flapping of the wings of the American eagle, we recognize that once the familiar heraldic emblems of Russia, Russian Empire, and the American Republic. My brothers and sisters, we always had a republic. I keep telling y'all that. There's a difference between a republican form of government and a democratic form of government. Let me rephrase that. There's a difference between a republic and a republican form of government and a democratic form of government. The democratic form of government and the republican form of government, they are all the same. Okay? However, a republic is different. Let me continue. So far, however, as the present writer has been able to ascertain, it has never before shown that a prehistoric, universal, astronomic, geographical system allots the only bears set in the stars to Russia and the only eagles to America. So what they're saying is that in the constellations, in the stars, the bear was given to Russia, and in the constellation in the stars, the eagle was given to America. This system also displays the zodiacal constellations of Taurus over the Taurus Mountains, Ursus over Persia, Orion over Iran, Medusa over the land of Medes, the British unicorn between the meridians of British India, Capricornus, Pan over Panama, Cygnus, Canaan over Canada. Okay, Canaan over Canada, the ram or the lamb of God over Rome, and the flaming lion over China. This flaming lion, though now familiar figure in bric-a-brac and art shops in bronze, porcelain, chinaware, or wood, offers apparently an exception to the coincidences existing between the skies and the different quarters of the globe, since the lion brings our thoughts rather to the Great Britain than to China. The exception, however, is only apparent. The lion belongs to China in the first place by virtue of prehistoric as astronomical allotment, the constellations as we know them being described by Hesiod 1000 BC as even at that period of immemorial antiquity, whereas the appearance of the lion in British Isles dates from a comparatively recent period. So in antiquity, the lion belongs to China, all right? And that is based on the constellations, all right? Secondly, history, tradition, and philology unite in indicating Noah or one of his sons as the founder of the Chinese Empire, with its patriarchal characteristics, while the Anglo-Saxons are not the original inhabitants of the British Isle, but an invaded race. Okay? An invading race. Precisely how, when, and why the British came into the possession of the Lion of China and the unicorn of India are the points that remain to be elucidated, that it may confidently be expected that the discovery yet forth will prove the long lost key to the origin and significance of the British arms and of the ancient heraldry in general. Surely it is significant discovery that during the reign of the first English Empress of India, the British unicorn is found inseparably associated with the land of India. It would seem, moreover, that the stars connect England with the Premier, for the constellation of Taurus is the Bull, and John the Bull is the British Empire, while the Premier is situated between the meridians of Taurus and its ancient inhabitants, the Scythian, ancestors of the Saxon race, are still indicated upon all the classical maps as the Turi, or the people of the Bull. Study of the American constellation Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricornus reveals the immemorial antiquity of the name of America and the significance of the arms of the United States. My brothers and sisters, let me read that again. All right? I'm going to read that again. Study of the American constellations. What people don't realize, each of those countries, they have constellations. All right, in the constellations a lot of stuff is revealed. That's why our ancestors were able to look into the cosmos, look out into the constellations and see things. I'm going to read that again. Study of the American constellations, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricornus reveals the immemorial, meaning that from time immemorial, forever and ever, without end, immemorial antiquity of, come on, man, don't stick on me now. It's starting to get a little juicy here now. Of the name of America and the significance of the arms of the United States. The fact that once recognized that it is impossible to separate the eagle from America. The land shadowed with the wings of Isaiah, over which accordingly appeared two grand eagles, the red swan flying down the Milky Way, and the winged steeds, Pegasus and Equilius, all wings known to astronomy, without taking the bear from Russia, Perseus from Persia, and a flood of light is poured upon the history and the mythology, and where heretofore much has been vague and the inextricable, now we are able to at least see men as trees walking. Okay. The map accompanying this work is arranged so that the reader may keep it continually before his eyes for the purpose of reference, as he is led through the examination of a network of coincidences, which, if accidental, would prove that chance is artistically, mythologically in its operations as law itself. When the following course of the constellations, those immovably and perpetually fastened upon America, are reached, it will appear that while all that is sublime in the historic past centers upon Egypt, pay attention, my brothers and sisters, all that is sublime in the prehistoric past centers upon America, and as the curtain which has hereto concealed the prehistoric connection between the peoples of ancient Egypt and of America, it is lifted, it will be seen that the people of the eagle on the Nile, being descended from the original people of the eagle on this continent, that the twain are one, and that the prehistoric America was the original Egypt, of the Eagle Land and prior to the mighty dispersion in the days of Peleg, when the earth was divided and the great globe itself nearly went asunder. What y'all telling me? Huh? Let me tell y'all something. When Chief be bringing the facts, I know what I'm talking about. All right? When I was telling people from the very onset, when I first came on YouTube, I was one of the first people telling people that America was the first Egypt. People thought I was crazy. And I could prove that with my DNA because I got the facts in my DNA. Y'all think it's a game? That's why they don't want us to know who we are. All right? They don't want us to know who we are. Because the moment we find out, let me tell you something, man. When the masses wake up to this, to know who we are, I'm telling you, it's a wrap. And it's only going to take a few of us to start planting those seeds and telling the truth of our people. This is not a game. When I come and I bring the noise. All right? I'm going to read that again because I want this to sink in. I've been telling people that for years because you know what? It was told to me in a vision. And when I did more specific research on me, I found out that I am a direct descendant of pharaohs. But you know what? I'm going to save that for another time because I got the proof of that. A direct descendant where both my parents and I was, you know, it wasn't making sense to me. And I was trying to put two and two together. Well, how come it is saying that I am an American, I'm American Indian, and I have the proof to prove that with my blood, with my DNA, right? But yet still, I'm a direct descendant of who they call Akhenaten. That may not have been the original name, but I'm a direct descendant of Akhenaten, and come to find out that both my mother and father have alleles from Akhenaten. So when I did more research, come to find out that my parents, going back further into antiquity, we had to marry into our bloodline so that we could keep our bloodline pure. So when I tell people I know who I am, people think it's a game. But let me just prove something. Let me just show y'all something real quick. Because people think I'll be playing, man. Let me show y'all something real quick. And I'm not here to brag and boast. I'm just trying to let people know I know who I am, man. Okay? If you don't know who you are, then people will be able to dissuade you. People will be able to take you off your course. But let me show y'all something real quick. From the very onset, from the very beginning, you think that was planned? Let me show y'all something. Like I tell people, my life is an open book. All right? This is the name that my mother gave me. Okay? This is the name that my mother gave me. Now, it's saying that the name is origin English, rare. It is rare, all right? But look at it. That's the given name or the so-called legal name that my mother gave me, Kenrick. Now, it says Welsh meaning. The name Kenrick is a Welsh baby name. In Welsh, the meaning of the name Kenrick is what? Royal chieftain. It's a surname. So when I tell people, this has nothing to do with ego. This was what I was given. All right? This is what I was given. And my ancestors have proved that to me on many, many, many occasions. I'm going to read a little bit about my personality for y'all. Well, y'all, for those of y'all, get to know Chief Kalinago here for a second. Just so you know who you are dealing with. And I tell people, we all have walked a path. We all have a past. And my past doesn't define me. One thing I could tell people, I've never been convicted of any felonies. I've never been to jail. All right? So I thank my parents for raising me the right way. All right? Now, this is the name that my parents gave me. And when I was, you know, getting knowledge of self, getting into myself, you know, asking the universe to show me, asking my ancestors to show me my purpose, show me who I am. All right. A sister, she said, you know what, Chief, have you ever looked at the definition of your name? And she started to smile. I said, no. She said, you should, because it just speaks of who you are. And I bet you didn't, she said, it's gonna blow your mind. But at that time, I didn't want it to blow my mind because I want my mind to be exactly where it's at because I love my mind. So I went and looked up the definition of the name, the legal name that my parents gave me. And my parents named me Kenrick. Now, here we are. Kenrick is an active, viral, and resourceful man who often appears distant and when in fact he is just wary and a little nervous around those he doesn't know and doesn't open up straight away. And that's me. I'm telling you now about who I am, my personality, all right? But once reassured, he reveals himself to be straightforward, direct, and sincere. He is the genuine article and can't stand superficiality in others, while he possesses a strong sense of duty to those he loves. And I'm telling you, I have been that way even before I knew the definition or the meaning of my name. It was a sister who pointed me out to that. He is independent and his freedom is there to him. Somewhat allergic to restriction. He enjoys challenging himself by taking calculated risk. However, he needs security and stability and is sometimes torn between his hankering for possession, which leads him to conserve his acquisitions, and the desire to conquer his fears. Luckily, he is also rather adaptable, and this allows him to follow his dreams without too much anxiety. Even so, he can be prone to stress and needs to stay active in order to dispense his excess energy. Now you guys see why I'm always moving, why I'm always engaged in some type of activity, because I have a lot of energy. This could be expressed by a high mobility and adaptability through taking part in sport, frequent travel, or a large capacity for work. Although Kenrick is a man of action. You see, so when I tell people, get to know me, you feel me? I'm a man of action. And when I tell people all the talking and the making you think, people thought I was taking a jab at brothers. No. Okay, I wasn't doing that. I am telling you about what's in me. I am a man of action. I don't just talk about it. I am about it. He is also quite capable of curbing his enthusiasm and resisting his impulses. That's why I was able to be celibate for 3 years and not stress it. After all, he is characterized by his strength of will and authoritative air, which bestow him with a certain charisma. As a child, he is already ambitious and is prepared to go to great lengths in order to win. Bubbly and energetic, curious and excitable, he can be unpredictable and a bit of fidget, especially if he was born in May or has a little path number of 5, a life path number of 5. Well, I manifested here in March. He is nonetheless usually quite sensible, although he isn't particularly demonstrative where his feelings are concerned. That's true. I am very reserved with my feelings. It would be a good idea to help him develop a sense of sharing because he tends to be egotistical and capricious. All right. And a lot of times people say, it's ego. But I'm just saying, you know what? That's just my personality. What does Kenrick like? Feels the need to impress and be admired by others. Loves being the center of attention and is prepared to provide a lot of effort to achieve these ends. He appreciates all that is big or beautiful, as well as anything that is aligned with this desire for greatness. Ladies, you may be already have noticed that this man is not without a certain charm. He seeks the security of a home and a family, but he also requires a certain amount of magic and fantasy in his life. Finally, when in a relationship, he can have difficulty accepting his position of the master being questioned. All right. So I'm just giving y'all a little bit of that. What does he do? Needs to find a profession that motivates him and is likely to be attracted to careers in sales and marketing, advertising, mobile occupations, directly or indirectly connected with travel. Now you see why I like to travel and teach my people. Professions in relations to the natural sciences. You hear that? Natural sciences, accuracy and nature. The independent professions in connection with aesthetics, art, and design or magnetic possessions. All right. So I just wanted to read a little bit of, that for you guys, so you guys could have an idea of who I am. All right. And that was the name that my mother gave me. So let us go back to the reading. And I'm going to read this again. All right. I'm going to read this again. It's important that we all get to know who we are, our attributes, who we truly are. That's how you get to know self. That's how you are able to ascend, when you have a true understanding of who you are. So let us get back to this. Here we go. When the following course of the constellations, those immovably and perpetually fastened upon America, are reached, it will appear that while all that is sublime in the historic past centers upon Egypt, all that is sublime in the prehistoric past centers upon America. You see, they are only teaching us about our history and not about our prehistoric stories. It reads, and as the curtain which has hereto concealed, you hear that? Concealed the prehistoric connection between the peoples of ancient Egypt and of America, it is lifted, it will be seen that the people of the eagle on the Nile, being descended from the original people of the eagle on this continent, the twain are one. And that prehistoric America was the original Egypt or Eagle Land prior to the mighty dispersion in the days of Peleg. Okay? When the earth was divided and the great globe itself was nearly rent asunder. So I'm showing y'all the facts. Firstborn among the continents says Akazis. America has been falsely denominated the New World. You hear that again? Firstborn among the continents. America has been falsely denominated the New World. Hers was the first dry land lifted out of the waters. Hers was the first shore washed by the ocean that enveloped all the earth beside. And while Europe was represented only by islands rising here and there above the sea, America already stretched in an unbroken line of land from Nova Scotia to the far west. Man, y'all gonna learn today. All right, the first land that emerged too big, that ancient America, not America in 1492 like they taught you. No, ancient America, as well shall see, was inhabited by a grand race of men, all right, whose deathless traces have been left upon the surface of the globe and among the stars of the sky. You feel me? I'm going to read that again. That ancient America, as we shall see, was inhabited by the grand race of men, a grand race of men whose deathless traces have been left upon the surface of the globe and among the stars of the sky. That's why they don't want us to know who we are, brothers and sisters. When in the course of the following pages, the key of the Great Pyramid, which forms the reverse of the Great Seal of the Secretary of State of the United States, it is applied to unlock the mystery of long submerged islands and long depopulated lands, and cause them to lift up their voices to tell of the feet that once moved in choral dances upon their level floors. It will appear that the science that ancient time was at the flight of the eagle, while that of our present civilization is but as the borrowing of the mule. All the heraldry of the nations, it will be shown, and all the emblems, ceremonies, and figures of speech of religion and the epic poetry are derived from the art and the science triumph and the destruction of the ancient Americas. Sir Daniel Wilson remarks that, like Brazeau Donnelly in his Atlantis, the antediluvian world wholly ignores the concurrent opinions of the highest authorities in science that main features of the Atlantic basin have undergone no change within the recent geological periods. Brazeau and Donnelly, resorting to the law and to the testimony present at an invincible chain of fact, transmitted from prehistoric times by the immediate descendants of the races who experienced the events they described. Why should not they ignore mere opinions of today, based upon the geological theories of the orderly course of nature as demonstrated in the laboratory experiments of scientists, who will perceive in the terrestrial effects of the one dreadful night of Isaiah and of Plato, only changes gradually, produced in the slow course unnumbered hundreds of thousands of years. Certainly scientists who, from the marks left by Johnstone flood, should figure out geological periods of thousands of years for the natural production of the effects observed, would deserve to have their concurrent opinions ignored by students of descriptions left by eyewitnesses of the disaster. The promulgators of such concurrent opinions know that if all ancient Bibles and all religions bear witness to the historic truth, their modern geological theories are false. Hence, their eagerness to persuade the people to exchange their old lamps for the new, surrender the facts of the human history for the new found scientific opinions. All right? We are going back into facts, man. We are going back into prehistoric America. You dig? Now, that is a side note. We could read the side note, but you know what? You guys could read that for yourself. I'm just going to read a little more, and I'm going to conclude that. But we have facts and record to show. I'm going to read a little more. The votaries of modern science would make the demonstration of a scientific basis, in the restricted sense of the term, an indispensable prerequisite to the reception of the most universal affirmations of ancient history. Whereas neither history, art, philosophy, government, nor religion has the so-called scientific basis, this antagonism alone possesses. The basis of science, falsely so-called in our day, is the literally preposterous notion of physical causation. The term mind was originally set apart to designate the active side of existence, comprehending everything pertaining to causation. The term matter to designate the passive side of existence, comprehending everything pertaining to effect. Okay? So the mind, which is God, deals with cause, and matter deals with effect, which is the physical man. You dig? This polarity, modern science proposes to eliminate by decreeing that the term matter shall include both cause and effect, and the term mind be restricted to certain of the numerous effects of matter. Now, since matter as it is represented to the human mind by the five senses does not really exist according to the atomic theory, but is to be conceived as a merely a congeries of hypothetical mathematical points, it is obvious that only a short course of training on these lines is a requisite to prepare one for a diploma as an agnostic of the type of Luns de Verona. All right, so I think I'm going to conclude that here, but let's see. No matter how numerous or complicated the words of a lock may be, if but the right key be applied, the Great Pyramid proves to be the long sought key to the mysteries at once of mythology and of the great world religion. Especially interesting is it to Americans in this year of the Colombians' celebration of the 400th anniversary of the rediscovery of the America, to see it demonstrated that the cosmic terrors interwoven with the very warp and woof of all sacred literature, Christian and pagan, refer to the occurrences as literally true as earthquake of Lisbon. These stupendous events being connected primarily with a great destruction and recovery of equilibrium in the solar system, and secondly, with the consequent wrecking of the continent of America when the globe became involved in the consequences of a disorder of the skies. America, when this ruin befell, was the seat of the greatest empire that has ever existed, and its irresistible armies were terrorizing all Europe and Asian sisters. Man, what y'all telling me, man? Huh? What y'all telling me? Hmm? Y'all got people lying to y'all, telling y'all African, all type of stuff. I'm telling you, all right? America, when this ruin befell, I'm talking about a great cosmic, catastrophe befell, all right, was the seat of the greatest empire that has ever existed, and its irresistible armies were terrorizing Europe and all over Asia. Yes, that's why they don't want us to know who we are, because we will find out how great we were, and we will be forced to step back on that throne. In America, rediscovered in the 15th century and repopulated in the 17th, was recovered Egypt and the promised land. You hear that? Or the land of the constellation of the eagle Aquila, Egyptus, and the swan Cygnus, Canaan, Canada, whose places will be shown to be fixed in America by the same combination of celestial to terrestrial geography, which gives to Russia the bear, to China the lion, to British India the unicorn, and to the Great Pyramid the Pleiades, with which constellation that gigantic Bible in stone is directly connected to the Herschel, Proctor, Smith, and other of the foremost astronomers. You feel me? I hope you guys feel me on this. In America, rediscovered in the 15th century and repopulated in the 17th, was recovered Egypt. Okay? Recovered Egypt. So all down in South America, the Yucatan, they're telling you those pyramids. No, that is the old Egypt. Don't let nobody fool you. And of the old Egypt, they created Kemet in Africa. Y'all better wake up and realize what's going on. I've been telling y'all that for years. This one fact, okay, a fact, this one fact renders it strikingly appropriate that the first parliament of religions in the history of the world should have been held on what? American soil. on American soil. So all religions stemmed from where? The American soil, from all our spiritual practices. Thus, bringing together brethren long separated upon identical continents occupied by their common progenitors, before the confusion of lip and tradition wrought by separation of the survivors of the supreme disaster which wrecked this continent and buried its civilization beneath the so-called drift deposits of the alleged glacial period. May this volume aid at least individuals among those who thus met at the Colombian Parliament to find common ground for future welcomes and greetings more fervent than any inspired by patronizing attitudes or the warm toleration of an armed truce and temporary suspicion of hostilities. Albert Ross Parsons, Garden City, Long Island, September 1893. All right. Now, right here, I think it's going into the first. They're showing here. That's a picture from ancient Egypt. All right, ancient Egypt. That was right here in the Americas. Right here in the Americas, the Great Pyramid. All right, the people who erected the obelisks in Egypt and covered them with the hieroglyphics, who wrapped the mummies, embalming them with the greatest care, knew no more about the pyramid builders than we do today. Those majestic, voiceless sentinels, the pyramids with heads uncovered and lifted heavenward, stood there on the broad plain, silent and dumb, with no one to explain their origin. When Egyptian civilization began in Judean, the wonder of the world, the eternal pyramid, whose existence astounds our credence, whose antiquity has been a dream, whose epoch is a mystery. What monument on earth has given rise to more fables, speculations, errors, and misconceptions? Despots considering empires as their private domains and the people as their property, gave themselves up to what? Let me see. To depredations and all licentiousness of the most arbitrary authority, and all the strength and wealth of nations were diverted or to private expense and personal caprice, and kings fatigued with gratification abandoned themselves to all extravagances of factitious and depraved taste. Under the cloak of religion, their prime founded temples endured idolent priests built for wind skeleton, extravagant tombs, museums, and pyramids. Millions of hands were employed in sterile labors. I have sometimes calculated that what might have been done with the expense of the 3 pyramids of Giza, and have found that it would easily have constructed from the Red Sea to Alexandria a canal 150 feet wide and 30 feet deep, completely covered in with cut stones, and a parapet together with a forfeited and commercial town consisting of 400 houses furnished with centers. What a difference in point of a utility between such a canal and those pyramids. Now, brothers and sisters, this book you could read for yourself, all right? But just so you know, I'm just giving you the foundation, just opening you up to new information so that you don't let people fool you with all the BS, all right? During 20 years, 100,000 men labored every day to build a pyramid of Egyptian Cheops. Supposing only 300 days a year, on an account of the Sabbath, there will be 30 millions of days work a year, and 600 millions in 20 years at 15 sauce a day. This makes 450 million of francs lost without any further benefit. With this sum, if the king had shut the isthmus of Suez by a strong wall like that of China, the destinies of Egypt might have been entirely changed. Foreign invasions would have been prevented, and the Arabs of the desert would neither have conquered nor harbored nor harvest or harnessed that country. Sterile labors, how many millions lost in putting the stone upon another on the form of temples and churches. Alchemists convert stones into gold. You hear that? Alchemists convert stones into gold. That is the skill that we had. We turn stones into gold. But architects change gold into stone. You hear the difference? Man, y'all better wake up and realize what's going on. But anyway, I'm not going to read any further. I'm going to come back to the live feed. But like I said, the book is there. It's in the link below. It's on our website, and you could definitely indulge. All right, let me get back to that live feed. So like I said, we are going beyond the frails of pre-colonial, or what we call, or what they call colonization, to show you guys that we are a great people, man. All right, we are a great people. So brothers and sisters, I hope that you enjoyed this build. Just wanted to come and once again continue to share information with you guys. All right, get away from all the fables and the lies and the propaganda that this conscious community, all right, it was put in place to confuse our people. All right, so we have to know what's going on. Dig deep into the facts. That's what we got to do. You feel me? So how are we all doing? I hope we're doing good, because I'm feeling great. All right. Once I conclude this video, I'm going to do some meditation once again, thanking my ancestors, thanking the Great Spirit, thanking my higher self, thanking, my guardian angels, my angels of light, my spiritual parents, and my physical parents. You feel me? Because I have to be grateful. I have to be thankful that when my physical body, and when my physical body goes back to the ground and my spirit ascends, I am gonna go to the next realm, the next level, as an ascended I am, as an ascended God. You feel me? So I'm just so grateful for that. That's why I don't partake in what you call the distractions. Once or twice, you know what? I may, joke around a little bit, but I'm very serious about what I do. Okay? This is personal to me. And as you could see, I told you a little bit of my personality. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Absolutely. You guys are absolutely welcome, man. No, America wasn't named after Vespucci, man. Stop it, please. Stop. All right, stop it. America wasn't named after Vespucci. Even before Vespucci, all the way from the Inca tribe, America already had a name, which was kind of French, because like I tell people think French was one of our languages. Okay, French is one of the purest languages, and people are giving that credit to the other people. No, okay, no, trust me, French was our language, and what you call in the Inca language, Amérique was the name America way before Vespucci, and Vespucci changed his name, okay, to take credit for naming America. All right? Nah, brother. But like I said, the world has changed so many times. You have Atlantis, Lemuria, which is Mu, America, Turtle Island, North America. Man, it is just so many different names. But America, the name was written in the constellations. All right? So let's keep that in mind. All right? The Americas was named after the Italian. Now, so like I said, it wasn't named after Vespucci. Vespucci took the name, and I have the proof of that. I have an in-depth excerpt from a book that speaks about that. You feel me? He took the name so that he could take the credit for going in competition with Columbus in terms of saying that he discovered it. All right. So now we are giving these people too much credit, man, that they don't deserve. You feel me? Because our history, it has been, man, I'm talking about defaced, whitewashed. You know, we have been misled, we have been miseducated. And I'm just showing our people who we are. And you have to ask yourself, I always ask you to revert to this. Let me show y'all one more time, right? And I'm talking about that's just in recent times. Let me see if I could find it for you guys. Give me a second, please. I know I have it somewhere. All right, here we go. And that is just in recent times. Recent times. Let me see. I'm trying to give me a second, guys. I'm opening up something there. He said, I'm a victim of gangster talking, and if you get spare time, please research it. All right. All right, so here we go. This is what I'm talking about here. Let me see. And you guys have to realize something, right? There is a reason for all this, and I'm going to show y'all exactly what it is now. And I always tell people, you have to just look at things for what they are. I'm going to share this with you guys. Of course, I've shared it with you before, but I'm going to show you again. My brothers and sisters, all right? There is a reason for this. There is a reason for this. And when I say this, I'm talking about what you're seeing on the screen right now. If you go anywhere around the world, and I'm talking about, we're just talking about historic times. We are not talking about prehistoric times. We are talking about historic times. Okay, what you're seeing on the screen right now. No matter where you go, in historic times, the people have always been the same. Okay? If you were just to generalize Africans, Africans has always been Africans. You feel me? But when you identify them in their specific countries, a Nigerian has always been a Nigerian. A Ghanaian has always been a Ghanaian. An Ethiopian has always been an Ethiopian. And I'm talking about in historic times, not prehistoric. Okay? If you feel me, the point I'm trying to make is an Italian has always been an Italian. Okay? An Irish has always been an Irishman. Why is that? We are the only ones on the planet whose identity keeps changing. My brothers and sisters, that alone in itself should be really bothersome to you. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to show. And I'm just talking about from 1942. I mean, from 1492. Okay? So we have to realize why these people don't want us to know who we are. It goes deeper than what you think. A whole lot deeper than what you think. Believe me. They don't want us to know. All right? They don't want us to know. You did. All right. So yes, many are gang stalking victims, and I now isolated because my family broke due to that program. I'm not sure what that is. Gang stalking. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. So he says, I am a victim of gang stalking, and if you get spare time, please research that. Okay, what exactly is gang stalking? Like gangs stalking individuals and beating them up or something? You know what? I'll research it. All right, I'll research it. But if it's something that you experienced that was a so-called bad experience, then you know what? I'm sending positive energy your way. and if you are not, recovered or healed, okay, so that's what it is. All right, so I'm sending a lot of positive energy your way, fam. All right, speedy recovery. You feel me? Both physically and mentally and spiritually. You did. And those are some of the things that, we have to, as a people, our people are hurt. You feel me? So those are the things that we have to come together as a people so we could, you're absolutely welcome. All right. Those are the things that we have to come as a people, and we have to start, getting rid of those type of behaviors. You feel me? That's why I say we have so much work to do. All right. And and you know what? We are going to face persecution, but it is what it is. For me, it is what it is. I'm going to continue to stand on who I am. I know my immediate ancestors were the original people of this land. And I'm talking about from antiquity, from time immemorial. You feel me? And day after day, research after research, I am getting the proof. But they're not teaching it to us. That's why we need our own educational system. We need to teach our own children. And that's the reason why our people are destroying each other. And that's why other cultures don't have a lot of respect for us, because we don't know who we are. That's why the conscious community, they are lost. And they are biased because they are being paid. All right? They are being paid to mislead the people. So, man, like I said, we got work to do, man. So I'm about to conclude this feed, and I want to thank you guys once more for tuning in. All right? For those of you who, once again, like I said, who are ready to move forward, get your affairs in order. My email is in the link below. You got to correct your political status, brothers and sisters, because we got to step up as who we are, the American Aborigines. Moves are being made. We are making moves. And I would love for you guys to be a part of that. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a part of our nation. That's not what I'm saying. If you so choose, great. But you don't have to be part of our nation. However, all I'm just saying is get your affairs in order. Correct your political status, and you could still work with other indigenous people, other American Aborigines. And that's what I'm saying. This is not solicitation to join our nation. No. Because we good. We love our small group. Believe me, we love our small group because there is love amongst what we have. Because I realized the bigger we used to get, we made room for all sorts of negative energies. And we don't want to go through that again. Now that we are in a great place, we are building, we are making powerful moves. All right? So with that being said, all I'm just saying is get your affairs in order. That should be your number one priority. Stop being property. Stop being a slave. You feel me? We have to step up as the indigenous people, as the Aborigines. You have to cancel out how would I put it? You have to cancel out the presumption of you in their system. They have assumed that you are who you are. And it's up to you to rebuttal that. It's up to you to counteract. Okay? And that's all I'm just saying. You could still work as an Aborigine. And a lot of people think because you're an Aborigine or you indigenous, oh, I got to stop working. No, man. How are you going to take care of your family? You got to be wise. Yes, work 2, 3, 4 jobs so that you could facilitate your transition, because everything costs. Okay? Everything costs. Just what? I would say literally about 70, what? Let me see, about 48, no, about 76 to 96 hours ago. Yes, I had to pay $240 to get some information. Me. Okay? And I know, and trust me, I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know everything. And you know why new information come to me? Because I never tell myself I know it all. Any man or woman who thinks they know it all is a fool. So I always want to remain what? An empty vessel, in the sense that I'm always waiting and ready to accept new information. And I'm getting some powerful information that's going to take us to another level. And guess what? I had to pay $240 for it. You think I wanted to pay for it? But no. The brother was providing a service. And guess what? I respect that he's providing a service, and I supported him. But you see, our people have the mindset that we're supposed to come on here and just do everything, and you just say thank you and that's it. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. All right? And for all those of you who have that mindset, that's why you were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, because you were selfish. All right? You didn't want to render onto that individual what is theirs. That's why Cain had to kill Abel. You feel me? So even me, I'm paying for information. When I had to learn to do trust, it cost me $800 to learn. Y'all think it's a game out here, huh? I know my freedom wasn't free. So I had to pay the price, okay? When I wanted some knowledge and to build, I had to go to Chicago to build with my brother out there. Who paid for me to go to Chicago? Me. I rented the car. Because I know it cost for my freedom. I know it cost for me to step back on the throne and restore the legacy of my ancestors. And sometimes it might even cost me my life. But you know what? If that's the price I gotta pay, I'm willing to pay it. So for all those of you running around thinking everything is free, man, trust me, you ain't going a damn place. Because guess what? The universe is watching you. Believe me. So that's why I don't stress nobody no more. Okay, I come, I teach, I give you the information. If you want to support, great. If you don't, fine. But anytime you come to me for my services, you are going to pay me. Don't donate to me. I don't want nobody to donate to me for my services. I'm not going to call it donations, because people think they're doing you a favor. All right? Don't do me any favors. You pay me for my time. You pay me for my services, because guess what? You pay everybody else. And you never complain. You pay everybody else and you never complain. But when it comes to one of us that look like us, you want to hook up. Oh, you know what? Man, Chief ain't supposed to be charging for this, man. What? Man, listen. Y'all better, man, I'm going to just keep it plenary right now. Okay? So all I'm just saying is, I'm teaching. The information is free. I would read a book with 2,000 pages and come teach you. But when you want my services, you're going to have to pay. Don't donate to that. I don't want nobody to say they owe me, they do me any favors. I've been down that road before, and I know the mentality of our people. A lot of our people are poisonous. They are dangerous, and I have to protect myself. So don't do me any favors. You want my services, you're going to have to pay for it. So like I tell people before, correct your political status. To get your dossier done is $200. It's plain and simple. All right? It's a 20-page document, and it's really, really powerful. And apart from that, I'm also giving you other documents that goes with it, which I've already gifted you guys on YouTube. Nobody's doing that but me. All right? At least not that I know of. Giving you those documents for free. I'm doing that. You feel me? So get your affairs in order and stop playing these games. Like I tell people, Jamie Foxx was on, what show was that? I think he was on Good Morning America. And when they was interviewing him, he's doing a new movie called Robin Hood, right? Where he's acting as John in Robin Hood. And Jamie Foxx said all of his family live with him. Okay? His mother, his daughter, his sisters, his niece, his nephew, even his mother's ex-husband lives with him, and that's not his father. Because you know what? He said he wants his family together. But our people who are struggling, they are separated. The mother don't want to get along with the brother. The mother don't want to get along with the father. The daughter don't want to get along with the mother. The son don't want to get along with the father. My brothers and sisters, let me tell y'all something. Y'all better learn to get along. Because this disaster that's coming, I promise you, you're going to want to have some family to be able to be a part of. Instead of you guys Start to love each other. Come together. Everybody have their own apartment. One person paying $900 rent. Another person paying $1,200 rent. Another person paying $1,500 rent. When you guys could come together and just get something. And live together. Learn to love each other. Learn to build each other. But no, everybody want to be individuals. Nah, man, I want to pay my own rent. I want to do this. No. You see? Why do you think other ethnic groups are able to succeed? Because they know the sacrifices that have to be made. If seven, eight of them have to live in one apartment, guess what? They would do it. Because in less than 2 years, each of them have a house and they own a gas station and they own what? They own all the stores in your communities. But our people will never learn. You don't want to learn. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say you will never learn. I'm going to take that back. But I'm saying a lot of y'all don't want to learn because you are so selfish. You feel me? You are so selfish. All you think about is your damn self. And you look down on other people because you feel you have a little something. But let me tell y'all something. Because of your ways, because of your heart, because of your intentions, the little that you have will be taken away. Believe that. That is just the laws of the universe. And then you talk about you love God or you love Jesus, but yet still you can't get along with your brother or sister. And that's, you see, that's the hypocrisy I can't stand with our people. How can you hate your brother? How can you hate your sister? How can you call our women bitches? Huh? How can you call our women hoes? Calling each other niggas. Our brothers going around shooting and killing each other. Sisters having envy and jealousy, animosity towards each other. But yet still, oh, I love Jesus on Sunday. Oh, Jesus and Jesus and Jesus. Man, shut the hell up. A bunch of hypocrites. Talking about you love something you have never seen. Because they tell you it's something outside of yourself you have never seen. But yet still, those that you see around you every single day, you don't know how to love them. You don't know how to take care of them. You don't know how to be their keeper. But yet still you love Jesus, who's supposed to love unconditionally, right? Who gave his life for everybody else. But yet still you love that. Man, I tell you, the hypocrisy is so, man. That's why you see me. I'm a special breed. I don't care what nobody say about me. I know me. I was cut from a cloth that a lot of people will never comprehend. Believe me. Because I stand on truth. I stand on integrity. That's me. If I cannot give you the truth, if I cannot stand on integrity, I'm going to go hide. Okay? I'm going to isolate myself and just do me. Then instead of coming here on videos and trying to feed you the bullshit. That's me. I would rather go stick to myself and not come here to deceive you with bullshit. They don't make them like me anymore. For real, for real. So for me, I could only be who I know I am. Be the best me that I could be. That's why I love all the time. You feel me? So when I say I'm able to love the Most High, I know exactly what I mean because I know how to love my brother and sister. I would never call our women bitches. I would never do that. I don't care how scandalous she may be. She's just a fallen God. It is my job to raise her up. That's my job, not to put her down. I would never call my brothers niggers. I would never do that because I want to uplift them, not put them down. I don't care what they do to me. They are just fallen gods, misguided. And I would never promote the destruction of my people. Never. I would never post anything, okay, that's perpetuating the destruction of my people or promoting the destruction of my people. I don't care how much they pay me. I don't care how much they paid me. No amount of money. I would never be a Judas to my people or my ancestors, because I know the eternal price that I will have to pay. That's when you know you are ascending into the Christ consciousness, because the materialistic things don't mean a damn thing to you. They will not be able to buy me for 30 pieces of silver. No. Mm-mm. They're going to have to take me out. You feel me? They're going to have to take me out. It ain't going to happen. And I am ready to stand that test any day now. That's why there's no fear in me. I don't believe in fear. Okay? Nah. Wherever I go, anybody challenge me. Oh, I'm not in your jurisdiction. Okay? The only person I subscribe to is the Most High. And I'm here to do the work of the Most High. And no man or no system has any jurisdiction over me. Now, if I so choose to abide by certain, what we call, just to respect my fellow men and women, because in every society, of course, we're going to have bylaws, as long as those bylaws are not hurting me. Okay? I will live in peace with my brother and sister. But anytime you have a law or an ordinance or a code that's hurting me, guess what? You cannot get me to be subjected. I don't care what you do. You could lock me up against my free will if that's what you so choose, then so be it. But I'm going to stand up for what's right. Okay? I'm going to stand up for what's right. And that's just me. And that has always been my personality on many different levels. It doesn't matter what I was engaged in my life at that time. That has always been my personality. Okay? I tell people, for love to exist, there has to be loyalty and trust. Okay? Loyalty, trust, for love to exist. And our people don't trust each other. We are not loyal to each other. So how can we love each other? Come on, man. Don't feed me with the lies. No. Show yourself, your real self, not your representation. I come on here every day and show my real me. Ain't nothing fake about me, man. I cannot stand fake people. I cannot stand liars, because a liar is a thief. My grandmother has always told me that. Okay? Always told me that. I despise liars to the core. I believe it's time we as a people need to start being honest with each other. But first, we have to start being honest with ourselves. Too many people are lying to themselves. They are in denial. Always putting on a show, always acting, always putting up an act, because you want to please everybody else. Just be you, man. Be you, and let people see you for who you are. Good, bad, or indifferent. Be who you are. Let people see the real you so they know what they're dealing with. So you don't have to hurt people. Stop with the bullshit. You know you're hurting people. You know you're deceiving people. Why? For 30 pieces of silver? For worthless paper? That's what you're willing to sacrifice your soul for? Nah, man. We got to do better than this. We have to. Well, I'm hoping we will. Man, I'm just saying. I'm just so tired of my people being hurt. So, brothers and sisters, let us work on us every day. Let us strive to be the better us that we could be. Let us strive to be the better I am that we could be. Continue to ask the I am in you to show you how to be the better you. You see, that's what I do every day. And every day I ask my I am to teach me how to be more like you, is the more I learn how to love. The more I learn how to be honest, the more I learn how to live my life with integrity, the more I learn how to trust, because the I am is showing me what it really means, the true me, stepping into that Christ consciousness, stepping into the truth. There's no such thing as half truth. It's either you're going to be standing in truth or you are not. Period. But once again, brothers and sisters, you have to fight G's, because you have to protect yourself, protect your energy from these vampires. That's why I don't look at their videos. Once in a while, somebody send me a video. I look at 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and if I have any type of inclination that is gonna sway towards some type of negativity or bullshit, I don't watch it. Okay, I don't watch it, because I don't want these people penetrating my, and I'm not gonna give them that chance. No, I will not. You feel me? And thank you. I appreciate that for the acknowledgement. Okay? I do what I do with people because I know what it means to love. I do what I do because I'm loyal to my people, because I know what loyalty means. I've always been that way. But finding the platform, okay, to what? To express it has always been the thing. But regardless of any situation or any platform I've been on, whether it may have been my personal life or my business life or what I'm doing right now, I have always been loyal. Always been loyal. I can't help myself. All right? I can't help myself. Because you see, once you have decided to see the truth, and you have truly seen the truth, it's hard to go back to the lies. It's tough. Man, for somebody to know the truth and continue to spread lies, you have to be a real dangerous person, man. You have to be a dangerous individual. But for me, because I've stepped into the truth, it is hard to go back to anything else. Anything else. So that's why a lot of times, you see me, you guys are my company. If it's not my brother of the hill and our nation members that I vibe with, my circle is small. Very, very small. Because I know there are a lot of dangerous people out there. Bad-minded people, evil people out there. Just want to hurt you for no reason. Well, they have a reason. Jealousy, envy. Because they don't love themselves. Because misery loves company. You dig? So they try to pull you into their realm of misery. That's what they want to do. Because they themselves, they're not happy with themselves. They don't want to see you happy. Selfish people. Man, it's time to change our paradigm of thinking, man. We have to change. We have to. It is the only way as a people we are going to step back into our throne. And that's why this system spends so much time distracting our people, putting down our people, okay? Because they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know who we are. Because we ruled this entire planet. Us, yes, the American Aborigines. That's why I told y'all before, we have a special relationship with the superior being. Okay? We were given a special assignment to teach the world. Okay? To restore humanity. But humanity is fighting against us. Because you know why? We are fighting against ourselves. That's what they see. So they are giving us exactly what we are seeking. Self-destruction. So all they're doing is just giving us the tools to destroy ourselves. Do you know I have never seen an episode of Power? Do you know I have never seen an episode of Scandal? Never. And I don't want to. Do you know I've never seen an episode of Housewives or LA Wives or whatever the hell they call them? No. I spend my time reading books. I spend my time studying. I spend my time meditating. I spend my time by myself getting to know who I am. Okay? I'm out here in the land. I spend my time outside, looking at the trees, looking around nature. And I'm going to tell you something that happened to me today, right? My brother's son came down, okay, to my trailer. And I was in the zone. Now I'm telling you, real talk. I was in the zone. I was writing up some documents, all right, for a brother who got into a legal situation. So I was doing some notices to assist them. So I'm deep into it, because when I'm writing documents, I always like to meditate before I do it, because I like to put the energy of victory into the documents that I write, because I know it's a legal situation and I want to shut them down. So I meditate first, okay? So I'm here in my zone, and I didn't hear my brother's son at the door. Honestly, I didn't hear him call. I didn't hear him knock. However, my ears start to ring, okay? My ears start to ring all of a sudden. And the ringing kept getting louder and louder and louder. And then I stopped doing what I was doing. And all of a sudden, the higher self told me, Chief, listen, pay attention. And I just listened. And in the distance, I heard a little voice, Chief, Chief. Now, I thought I was hearing myself, in myself, talking to me, not realizing that it was my brother's son that was at the door. The point I'm trying to make is this. I didn't hear him knocking or calling at all, but the higher self, okay, gave me the signal, the inclination. The higher self spoke to me through the ringing of my ear. And because I wasn't hearing him, the ringing kept getting louder and louder. And then that little voice came into my head and said, Chief, listen. And I just shut the noise. As soon as I listened, the ringing stopped. And I heard that little voice in the thin distance. And then I realized it was him. And I went to open up the door. You see, when you are vibrating on a frequency, on a certain frequency, the higher self, okay, the higher self will talk to you and you will know the voice. Just like they say, a sheep will know the voice of the shepherd. But I ain't no sheep though. But I'm just letting you know, I know the higher voice. It speaks to me. Because you know why? I have found my purpose. I have found my purpose. I know what it means to love. That's right. My heart is as light as a feather. Because I've truly comprehend the concept of the laws of Mayat. So I am being communicated to. And I love it. So brothers and sisters, man, trust me, it is worth it. It is worth being loyal. It is worth learning how to love. It is worth learning how to care. Be your brothers and sisters' keeper. It is worth it getting to know yourself, forgiving yourself of all your transgressions. Before you even forgive others, you have to forgive yourself. Because hurt people hurt people. Yes, we are a hurt people, but first we have to forgive ourselves and then forgive those who hurt us. I'm not saying to forget, because when you forget, history have a tendency of repeating itself. But learn to forgive. But first, you have to start with you. Start with you. Sometimes, even if you think it's not even your fault, okay, apologize. Even if sometimes it's not even your fault, take the higher road. I promise you, it makes you feel something in your heart. Man, it's a beautiful feeling. And some of the feelings that I feel, I hope I could just take it and put it in a bottle and just give it to y'all so y'all could experience what I'm talking about. I remember it must have been about 2 weeks ago. I had a true bliss moment where I experienced the all. I was meditating and I felt I became one with the all. Man, it was so, I cannot describe the feeling. But man, I want to feel that again. That was one of the very few times I felt that. And it was a beautiful feeling. And I'm longing and yearning to feel it again. And I know I'm going to experience it again, but this time I want to experience it a little longer because it was just a quick, all right, like a snap. Well, a little longer than a snap because I realized what it was. Okay? That I felt I was one with the all, everything. Like there was no time. All right? I was in the moment and I felt everything. And I want to feel that again. But you know, all that comes from practicing. I hear people say, well, practice make perfect. Well, I tell people, yes, that may be true. But let me tell y'all something. Practice make perfect, yes. But I say perfect practice make perfect. Because you could be practicing a whole lot of bullshit, believe me. And it will never lead to perfection. However, if you practice perfect, you will become perfect. And that's a fact. It all begins with self. Work on you. Don't care what anybody say. Work on yourself. Learn to love yourself. All right? And if you learn to love yourself, then you will realize that whatever you wanna have done to you, then you would also want it to be done to people. All right? So if you don't want nobody to hurt you, if you don't want nobody to rob and steal and defraud you, then don't do it to anybody else. Period. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Basic, simple laws of the universe. But we have forgotten that. We have forgotten that. It is time to step back into truth. Stop living the lie. Because you know when you are not being genuine. You know when you are being ingenuous. You know. Now you may be able to fool me, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your acquaintances, your associates, but you cannot fool yourself. That is the beauty about being alive and being in that universe, because it gives us the opportunity to know when we are doing wrong. You see that little thing called a conscience? It's in each and every one of us. Okay? It's in each and every one of us. And that's your judge. That's your jury. And each and every one of us have it because we know when we are doing wrong. But yet still, we continue to ignore that little voice. And we still do wrong. And a lot of times it tells us, don't do that. And we still do it. Then what we say, man, something told me. Well, damn it, you should have listened to that something. Because that means you are not in tune. We all need to vibrate on a certain frequency where we step into the truth. All right? There is not different frequencies of truth. No, truth is truth. So there's only one frequency for the truth. But we are stepping further and further away from the frequency, and we are living lives that's untrue. You dig? Now, I'm going to give you an example. Let us just suppose, all right, that my favorite music. I love, let's just say, I love relaxing music a lot. Okay. I listen to all genres of music. I love me some 90s music. That's my favorite. My favorite music is 90s music. Right? But anyway, let's just say your favorite radio station is 100.4 FM. That is the frequency that plays all your favorite music. All right? 100.4 FM is the station that plays your favorite music. Now, the only way for you to listen to your favorite music is for you to tune in to 1.4 FM. All right? I hope that's what I said. 1.4 FM. I'm going to just make it simple. However, if you change the dial, you will not hear your favorite music. And guess what? You have to be in a certain range of proximity so that you were able to catch that frequency. Because if 1.4 FM is only in New York and you are in New York, if you travel further away from New York, what's going to happen? You're going to start hearing static, right? All of a sudden, you go into another state, yes, another state of mind. And guess what? You are not going to hear your favorite music. All of a sudden, you might hear something else because you are in another state of mind. It is the same thing with your frequency of truth. The frequency of truth is on one channel, on one station. And a lot of times, a lot of us tune into that station, and then what we do, we get distracted. Okay? All of a sudden, envy, jealousy, hatred towards a brother or a sister steps in. And then what happens? You start tuning off. You start tuning away from that frequency of truth. You start diverting. And then you fall back into your carnalistic ways. But my brothers and sisters, it is your free will. You could always stay on that favorite station of truth if you so choose to. It is a matter of choice. So all you have to do is practice. Practice being truthful. Practice learning how to love. Okay? That's it. It's that simple. Practice make perfect. Let me give you all an experience. So let me tell y'all something, right? I was never a dishonest person. And that's just keeping it real. All right? But sometimes we all make little jokes and we all do what we have to do. But check this out. When I decided to step into a higher realm of consciousness, in other words, I told myself I want to step into my perfection. You feel me? Not that I was living a crazy life. No, I realized that my ancestors called me for a higher purpose. And I know I had to go through some form of purification. So what did I do? The spirit, once I started meditating, the spirit came to me and told me, hey, Chief, you know what? It would be in your best interest to be celibate for 3 years. I don't know why 3 years. Okay, I didn't ask any questions. As soon as the spirit or the higher self told me that I needed to be celibate for 3 years, guess what I did? Automatically, I went celibate for 3 years. At that point, I was actually seeing a sister. And I told her, hey, you know what? I apologize, but what we have got to come to an end in terms of the sexual activities. Man, she thought I was crazy. You feel me? But you know why? I decided that I wasn't going to cater to the flesh because my higher self told me that's what I needed to do. Now, she didn't comprehend. She didn't understand. She didn't understand. She didn't understand that that was my journey, that my ancestors was preparing me for this. And the only person who knew what it was and knew what it felt to be called for a higher purpose was me. And for some reason, I tried explaining that to everybody else, and nobody else could get it. And it caused a rift between her and myself. But I was willing to sacrifice that for the purpose that my ancestors and the Most High called me for. So I was celibate for 3 years, okay? Detaching myself from all these other energies that I had attached to myself. Not that she had a toxic energy. I'm not saying that, and I'm not insinuating that. Okay? But I'm certainly sure I've dealt with women who wasn't vibrating on such a high frequency, who had baggage with them, who had a lot of negativity with them. And people don't realize when you sleep with people, when you exchange your fluids with people, that energy that they have, it also attaches to your energy. So I had to purify myself. I had to go through the fire to purify myself. And I decided to go celebrate for 3 years. You dig? Man, people thought it, well, damn, Chief, how do you do it? It was, brothers and sisters, it was so simple. Because I made up what? My mind. Okay? I decided to put my God to work, which is my mind. Because I knew what I was being prepared for. And the first few months passed, the first year, okay? Then another year, then another year. Man, that was so easy. Well, not true, it was a little bit tough, okay? But it became easier. The more I told myself, you know what? I'm doing that for a greater cause. And then after 3 years of me being celibate, a little over 3 years, a sister and I, okay, we decided that she was celibate for what? I think 6 months or 7 months. And we decided that we were gonna interact, okay? Break our celibacy. That was a contract, but we knew what it was. All right? We were gonna get together for that purpose, for some self-gratification. And we did that for a few months. And then we decided to part our ways. There was no hard feelings. There was no animosity because we understood what we were doing. All right? And even before we engaged, we meditated together. Okay? She was on that frequency. So I tell people it's a lot deeper than what you think. You feel me? And then I decided to be celibate again. You feel me? I try to get, I got involved with a sister, started not dating, but seeing her to a certain extent. And I try to be physical, and it just wasn't right. So I couldn't engage because I told myself I was going to go back into a little moment of celibacy because there are certain things I wanted to accomplish mentally, okay, spiritually. I wanted to put myself in a certain place. And up to this present day, I am still celibate. You feel me? It doesn't mean that I don't miss the feminine energy. That's not what it means. I am doing this for a reason because I know myself. I know my true self. I know that I am in me. And I tell people, always tell people, I move in the spirit first. Okay? I move in the spirit first, and then I allow the physical self to follow. You feel me? So I know the time will come when I will meet a sister, okay? And we will engage. It's gonna happen. I know that. But for now, I'm just in my zone, doing what I gotta do. All right? And because I know that I'm stepping up into a higher sense, all right? Into a higher realm of consciousness. And I'm not saying the only way to do it is to be celibate. I'm not saying that. That is just my journey. Okay? That is just my journey. Yours may be different from mine. For you, it might be having a whole lot of sex. I don't know. Okay? Yours might be different, but this is just mine. Okay? That is just my experience. And it's working just fine for me. All right? But the day will come when I will meet a sister. All right? Like I tell people, for me, I have a what they call um how you damn I believe in the practice of polygamy. I'm not saying that I'm engaging in it right now, but I believe in it. All right, that's just what I believe. All right. Um, I don't think, because I don't believe in cheating. I don't believe in cheating. That's one thing. If I feel that if you if, as a man, if you are if you with a woman, all right, you should not cheat on the woman, because to me cheating is an illusion. Don't cheat on the woman. If you're gonna be a man about it and let her know what you're doing. So for me, that's how I feel. If I'm gonna be with a sister and I feel that I need to be with another woman while I'm with her, I'm gonna let her know. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm not gonna go behind her back and do it. I'm gonna let her know. And if she so choose to deal with it, then that's on her. If she don't, then it is what it is. But I am gonna be honest about it. All right. I don't believe in what they call cheating. No, I don't believe in that. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to let you know the facts. All right. So just so you know, because it is a sad thing when you have to cheat on a woman or a man, and then the person find out and you hurt the person, man. Man, I just cannot put myself in the position to hurt people. So for me, always being honest, I would rather hurt you with the truth than hurt you with the lie. So that's why every sister or any sister that I talk to, I get involved with, I let her know. You feel me? I let her know, because I have to be honest. I don't like to lie. So you see, the point I'm trying to make is not to impress you, but to impress upon you that you can become a better you if you so choose. Somebody asked if it's many wives. Well, I wouldn't use the term wives, but more partner. I figure, that's you would have to know where I came from. And when I say where I came from, my ancient lineage, all right, that was part of my culture. I don't know about everybody else. All right. And that was part of my culture. Okay. So, and I have the proof of all that. All right. So I tell people, I always like to keep it 100. Okay. I always like to keep it 100. And one day I will show you guys the proof of what direct lineage that I came from. And you would see that was part of my culture. All right. My uncle, my grandfathers, I'm talking about ancient grandfathers. And even in my family, in my ancient family, they intermarried. Okay, they intermarried to keep our bloodline pure, because it was a bloodline came from royalty. So that's why I'm telling you that. All right, that was part of our family history, our family culture. It is what it is. I'm not gonna change who I am. You feel me? So that's just what it is. So we had a lot of that in my ancient family, where we had to keep the bloodline pure. So we intermarried so that we could keep the royalty in the family. All right. One of my grandfathers had what? I think like about 6 or 7 wives. Well, people call them wives. You did. So that's all I'm saying. But in today's day and age, it's a little crazy. You know what I mean? It's a little crazy. So people are not used to that. I'm not saying every culture had that. No. All right. There has been a lot of monogamous cultures, but there has also been a lot of polygamous cultures as well. All right. So I'm just saying that. And I'm not saying that's something that I am gonna do. I'm just always letting people know. And if I do get involved with somebody, I'm letting them know that's part of my culture. Okay? It is part of my culture. All right. So I'm just gonna leave it as that. You feel me? So, but man, it's always a pleasure building with you guys. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So all I could say before I conclude is, step into your higher self. All right. Learn to love you. Learn to be a better you each and every single day. All right. Because you can, believe me, you can do it. It takes practice. All you have to do is practice and practice and practice. Continue those affirmations. All right. I am loved. I know how to love. I am honest. All right. All those things you have to start telling yourself. Convince yourself. I tell people, fake it until you make it. What I mean by that is continue telling yourself. I'm not saying be fake. I said fake it before you make it. And what I mean by that is keep telling yourself that you love yourself, even if you don't feel it just yet. But continue to tell yourself that, because anything that you practice for 21 days becomes a habit. Okay? So get into the habit of telling yourself, I love you. Get into the habit of telling yourself, I am trustworthy. Get into the habit of telling yourself, I am honest. Get into the habit of telling yourself, I have integrity. Get into the habit of telling yourself, I am loyal. And the more you practice telling yourself that, the more you will step into that reality. Because remember the word. The word. You feel me? The word. So it's a constant practice, because it is so easy to revert to the things that are self-destructive. It's a thin line. Very, very thin line. So that's why you always have to be on your A game. And that's why distractions all around us is so rampant in our community. Because people get distracted so fast. But thank my higher self, man, I have a very strong God, which is my mind. Okay? I have a very strong mind. And believe me, it is tough and difficult to get me off my path, because many, many, many have tried and they have been defeated. You know why? Because I practice. That's what those 3 years was for. Those 3 years of celibacy, that's what it was for. Building myself, building my spiritual armor, building my God, building my mind. That's what those 3 years was for. Yep. And trust me, I have no regrets. No regrets whatsoever. None. And it's not because I didn't want to. The temptation was there, but I had to fight the temptation, because I told myself, I promised my higher self, I was going to be obedient. All right? So with that being said, you are in control. Okay? You have your own mind, which is your own God. Do not allow anything or anyone to govern your mind. Okay? Practice every single day to be a better you. Ask your higher self to teach me how to be like you. And trust me, your higher self will assist you in being like your higher self. Because remember, the only way to get to the universal creator is through what? The higher self. The higher self is the bridge. And if you cannot connect to your higher self, believe me, you will not be able to connect to the universal I am. First, you have to get to know your I am, your personal I am. We all have our personal God, which is your mind. So get a full understanding of your mind. Get your mind to work for you in a productive, a progressive, and a positive way. That is your higher self. Get to know your higher self. And then your higher self is what's communicating to the universal I am. So now you will be able to communicate. You feel me? A lot of times people are calling and the universal I am don't hear. You know why? Because you haven't gotten in touch with your I am yet. That is the bridge. You feel me? So work on yourself. All right? Work on yourself. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this video. I'm certainly sure it won't be the last, but it's always a pleasure building with you guys. And you could have been, like I said, anywhere. It's almost what time now? Well, out here in Missouri, it's almost 1 o'clock, and you guys are still here with me. So I thank you for that. Like I said, you could have been anywhere else, but you're here, sharing each other's energy, sharing my experiences with you, and teaching you some information. All right? Somebody says, wait. Okay, wait. What am I waiting for, Crick? Running water. What am I waiting for? Oh, I know. Yes, you had asked about that. Our brother and sister in Florida, They are doing great in terms of they are not being harassed at the present moment, but we are still working on the situation on getting their children back. Okay? We are still working on getting their children back. So thank you for asking. I appreciate that. So you guys continue to send those notices to the governor of and the attorney general of Florida. We have to keep pushing that pressure, keep applying that pressure, letting them know that our people are not alone. All right. So definitely we are still working on that. The children are not home yet, but they're not getting all that pressure they used to get. So that's a beautiful thing. So definitely those notices are working. I appreciate that. Give thanks. All right. So once again, brothers and sisters, all right. I'm not. Did you sent me an email? Well, I haven't checked my email. I would have to check my email. The only way I'm going to respond is if I know I got an email. So let me check my email real quick and see if I have an email. Because normally I get a notification and I have no notifications. So I'm not sure what email you sent. Yeah. I have no, let me see. All right. Okay. It looked like there's one. Nah, I haven't gotten any emails from you, brother. Oh, you said send in now. Oh, so how are you going to tell me respond to your email and you haven't sent it? Oh, yes. I mean, of course, definitely. I mean, the videos are going to keep coming. As long as there is something of substance to share with you guys, I will definitely share it because I don't want to just come on here and just do videos and just talk, talk, talk. No, I always want to come with substance. All right. Last week you said you sent it. I'm not sure, but my email is always in the link below. So if you're gonna send an email, send it, and I'll probably respond to it sometime later after I get some rest. I'm not gonna respond to any emails right now. It's been a long day. As y'all could see, I've done two videos, and the hours I'm putting in that work. All right. So hope you guys appreciate that. You feel me? And once again, for all those of you who are ready to get your affairs in order, my email is in the link below. So have you guys a great continuation. Continue to be good to each other. Learn what it means to be my brother and sister's keeper, because we have to get into that state of mind. Okay, we have to get into that realm of thinking, what it truly means to be my brother and sister's keeper. All right, we truly have to know what that means, because there's going to come a time where it's already here. All we have is us. All right, all we have is us. It's like literally us against the world, in the words of Tupac. All right, so we definitely have to learn to be able to take care of each other, and that's just all I'm saying. All right, so much love to each and every one of you. Peace, love, harmony, and light, and enjoy your continuation. And we will definitely talk soon. Maybe late, who knows? After I get some rest. All right. I don't say sleep. I'm gonna say rest. All right. After I get some rest and I rise, I do my meditation. I do my sun gazing. I'm gonna chill for a minute. I'm gonna build with my brother, and then I may do one later. I know I'm supposed to go to another part of Missouri to link with another brother, all right, who has some more land. So hopefully that could be accomplished tomorrow, and I could definitely take some pictures or a video and show you guys the other sets of land that we have. Because I tell my people, it's about the land. We got to come back to the land. All right? We have to come back to the land. That's where it's at. Okay? Come back to the land. There's a reason why I'm saying that. All right? Shout out to my brothers and sisters, and may God shower us with wealth, health, and prosperity. I second that emotion. Same to you. Sending that out to each and every one of you. Wishing y'all, physical wealth. And I don't say health. I don't say health. I say wealth. Okay? Wishing y'all physical wealth. Okay? Spiritual advancement and financial wealth. Okay? Because it's needed. It's needed to do what we have to do. So don't let money be your enemy. All right? Get as much as you can to do what you have to do to advance yourself in the righteous way, of course, in truth. All right? And don't do anything to hurt your brother and your sister to get it now. But if you have to get 2, 3 jobs, man, to facilitate your indigenous life so you could step onto the land, then do it. Okay? Work 2, 3 jobs to make it happen. Because my goal is to teach my people how to get out of those greedy cities. You feel me? Those dead zones, that concrete jungle, and bring you back into the real jungle where we are always at our highest in terms of our vibrations and our frequency. That's how we win. Okay? So you guys have a good one. I'm about to conclude this video. Talk to you guys soon. Peace and love.